Good evening, I'm Maria Rodriguez Abalde. Welcome to Headlines. Chancellor Olaf Scholz faced a confidence vote in the German parliament yesterday, paving the way for the European Union's most populous member and biggest economy to hold an early election in February. To talk about this topic is joining me our guest, Madalena Mayer, Professor of International Affairs expert in Brussels. Thanks for being with us. So, President Frank-Walter Steinmeier has to decide whether to dissolve the Bundestag. Steinmeier, who said last month that this country needs stable majorities and a government that is capable of acting, has 21 days to make that decision. Once the parliament is dissolved, the election must be held within 16 days. In practice, Mr. Mayer, the campaign is already well underway.
Exactly. It's since 6th of November when the Prime Minister Scholz has fired the Minister of Finance. It paved the way for this end of this government and for a new election. So since then, the parties have been in a campaign mode, and there will be, of course, intensifying in the next months until the elections, which will take place on the 23rd of February.
Yeah, Ms. Mayer, the Chancellor said Germany is Ukraine's biggest military supplier in Europe, and he wants to keep that up, but underlying his insistence that he won't supply long-range cruise missiles over concerns of escalating the war with Russia or send German troops into the conflict. Can be this one of the biggest reasons for this situation?
No, the reason is actually an economic one. The government was composed of three parties, one liberal and two left-wing, and the parties have different ideas of how to respond to the economic crisis that the country is facing, with 4 semesters with no growth. Whereas the left-wing parties want to increase spending to fuel the economy, the liberals want to keep the deficit low, and so this conflict has resulted in the end of the government. Of course, now the question of support to Ukraine is part of the campaign of the different parties, but it was not the reason why the government fell.
Mm-hmm. You just mentioned this political turbulence has hit Germany as it struggles to revive a staggering economy hammered by high prices and also tough competition from China?
Well, it's exactly on the electrical vehicles front. China is very much winning against Germany. And the motor of the economy in Germany, which is the auto industry, is under great crisis because of this shift. They have not modernized and invested sufficiently on electric vehicles and are now very much behind China. And so this has effects over the rest of the economy. Of course, also that the high energy prices resulting from the war in Ukraine, in which Germany had to shift about 60% of its source of energy, has not helped.
Mm-hmm. Also, Scholz told lawmakers that the election will determine whether we as a strong country dare to invest strongly in our future. Do we have confidence in ourselves, or do we put our future on the line? Do you think Germany is on the line?
Well, I think that Germany is facing a very significant period of decisions. There is not much time to try to revive the economy and attempt for Germany not to lose the competition completely against the US and China. And of course, the prospect that President Trump will take office and make conditions much tougher for Germany of its trade with the US puts the new government in very difficult spot. And probably it will be a coalition between Christian Democrats and Social Democrats. And they will have to agree very quickly on measures to revive the economy and stem the rise of the extreme right.
Yeah, Ms. Mayer, confidence votes are very weird in Germany, a country of 83 million people that prize stability. This is only the sixth time in its post-war history that a chancellor has called one. The last was in 2005, which started the Angela Merkel epoch. So it seems that the country cannot be so proud of at least its political stability anymore.
Exactly. I think that all over Europe, the system of parties has been changing dramatically in the last 20 years. And Germany is now in a situation in which the two main parties, which in the 1990s had about 90% of the share of the vote, now have less than 50%. And this creates a situation of political fragmentation that is not good for political stability. So we face, of course, a normal situation in a democracy, but for Germany, this is a different moment in history in which both economics and politics face severe challenges. And this is, of course, difficult for Europe too, because Germany is the main country, the main economy, and if it enters a prolonged period of crisis, European economy will be also affected strongly.
You also, Ms. Mayer, mentioned before, the political landscape changed dramatically in early November when Scholz decided to fire the finance minister. This move led to the departure of the other liberal minister from the coalition and ultimately to the breakup of the tripartite coalition comprising the Social Democrats, Liberals and Greens. Monday's vote will formally mark the end of this alliance. What can we expect in the coming election?
Well, in the coming elections, we expect that the center-right party, the Christian Democrats, will score about 30% of the vote and will therefore be the leaders of the party, of the government, and will probably invite the Social Democrats under Olaf Scholz to join them in a grand coalition. This is a classical situation in Germany, meaning that there have been a lot of these grand coalitions. And in terms of the European landscape, this is probably not a bad idea because it will strengthen the European Commission's President Ursula von der Leyen in Brussels and give her even more power to try to shape the European response to these multiple crises.
Ms. Mayer, another new populist political party could also get into parliament for the first time, the anti-migrant nativist far left. The Conservatives are leading in the polls, but as things stand, their options for coalition partners are limited because they refuse to work with the far right. Whatever the next government looks like, there are cozy consensual coalitions in Germany seems to be over, right?
Well, let's see if the party of Sarah Wagenknecht will get into parliament. They have a 5% threshold, and it is not clear whether she will be able to enter parliament. As to the far right, they have about 18% of the votes. Of course, this could increase, and we don't know what kind of events will intercur between now and 23rd of February. The center parties have been created a sort of a cordon sanitaire around the extreme right, so they are not part of the government. And we hope that this will remain so.
We saw in these last days the situation in France, now Germany. Is Europe showing signs of weakness?
Absolutely. Europe is definitely in a divided state and quite prone to economic and political crisis. And this is, of course, a difficult situation to face the second Trump administration taking office in January. And therefore, it is a difficult moment, and Europe should be united and with a strong leadership, and that is not the case.
Thanks, Madalena Meyer, Professor of International Affairs expert in Brussels, for being with us and for your comments about this topic. Let's see what it will happen in Germany next February, and you can also get latest news around the clock on our website, AnewZ.tv. Thank you for watching. We wish you a good evening ahead.